wanted to give a quick garden tour for May. Honestly, it's been a bit challenging this year. The weather's been pretty rainy and cold, and I think my plants are struggling a little bit, but it's still pretty early in the season, so hopefully they're gonna recover. But just wanted to record what everything looked like so I could go back and look at it later. So to give you an idea of the orientation of my garden, I have 4 raised rows. Well, one's a bigger section that's split into 2 rows, and then 2 that are on the side. And then I have 4 raised beds, and they make up my main garden. So first up is this bed. This is where I have a lot of my spring stuff, but as you can see, there's some peas. They're starting to flower. They're looking really healthy and good. And then I also have a lot of greens. I have some lettuce in here. And then these are arugula. They're starting to bolt a little bit, but I've been doing them to my chickens, so I'm not trying to pull them all out quite yet. And then I also have some eggplant that I put in here just because I know like by the time these eggplants are gonna be big, a lot of this other stuff's gonna be out of here. And then moving on, we have some turnips here, and you can see that they are starting to head up a little bit. You can see them down there. And then I also have some carrots right here. They actually had pretty good germination this year. I tried to plant them whenever it was pretty rainy at one point. And then there's also a few beets back there. And then right here we also have some chard in the back. And there's some kale that also looks pretty healthy right here. And I also have some garlic right here. I don't plant a ton of garlic, but I do like having it on hand for canning. So that's what this is. And then this bed right here is one of my favorites. It is my strawberry bed. It didn't do quite as well over the winter this year as what it did last year. Last year this was like full of strawberries, mounded up, got a bumper crop, tons and tons and tons. But it was pretty rough last winter, very cold, and I did have it covered with straw, but they just didn't do quite as well over the winter. So I might try something a little bit different this year, but we do have some in here. And then I do have like some leeks interplanted into here. But you can see one of those leeks right here, but they're kind of just planted throughout here because I think that'd be a good interplanting here. And there's also some dill that I put in the strawberry bed just because there is so much space this year. But at the end of the summer, I'm guessing this will all be full again like it was last year. And then next year should hopefully be a better strawberry year. So this bed right here, I usually plant like peppers, tomatoes, and squash. But you can see I have a lot of lettuce. Most of this is going to be coming out within like the next few weeks. So I think it's fine to have it so close to the peppers. It's pretty close as you can see, but a lot of this is even coming out this afternoon. But you can see I have a few stray radishes down here that also need to come out. And here's a zucchini. And then I also have some tomatoes in this bed. Few weeds that need to come out too, but not a big deal. So this bed is kind of more the same. I do have some herbs in here, and I also have more tomatoes. I tend to put my favorites in the raised bed, and then I have some peppers in here as well. And I also have these are onions that overwintered from last year. If you don't know, onions are biennial, meaning that they have a 2-year life cycle. But what I do with these is I let them go over the summer. I kind of probably missed them because it just got so full in here at one point. But later this year, these are gonna flower and I can get onion seeds from here. And so I'd had to buy more seeds. And then this spot is mainly flowers. There's some sunflowers in the back. You probably can't see them. Some marigolds and zinnias. It really doesn't look like much, but at the end of last year, it was almost like a wall of flowers. It looked really great, and I'm hoping the same thing happens this year. And then this is one of my rows. And as you can see, I have a few broccoli down here. The one's kind of close to the oregano. The oregano kind of just exploded. But this actually needs harvested soon and dried out. It did really well over the winter, but I'm going to cut this off, a lot of it, cut it back, and then go ahead and dry it. Here's a few more broccoli. This one doesn't look quite as good as some of the others, but it's okay. A few tomatillos, trying those out for the first time this year. Some Romas I don't quite have supported yet, but that's coming. And then just more tomatoes. Lots and lots of tomatoes. And then this spot is supposed to be cucumbers. Honestly, I'm really struggling with those this year. They keep on getting ate up, but I'm gonna try again and maybe try to treat them with something just to give them a chance or maybe cover them. And this spot right here is all cabbages. There are some weeds I do need to weed in here, but these are cabbages. And then this spot right here, I'm gonna try to maybe plant some melons or some squash, but trying to leave that open right now until I can get a good window to plant them and get them in. And then right here, it's probably kind of hard to see, but these are some onions. Asparagus right here, and it's kind of like all through here. Some of these are getting pretty big, but they were planted, some of them were planted this year, some of them were planted last year, but asparagus takes 2 or 3 years until it's ready to be eaten and big enough. You want it kind of the size of a pencil, so mine's not quite ready. Then I also planted some strawberries over here just to try to experiment with winter planting with them with the asparagus. Then moving on, we have a lot more of the tomatoes, some nasturtiums that are planted. And then down here there is more kale. This is mustard. And this is kohlrabi. It has gotten eaten up a little bit, but that's okay. And then I also have more onions down here. I kind of planted a bunch this year like I do most years, but it's always kind of tuck them in where I can and try to find space for them. And then this spot right here is squash. There's a custard squash. I'm probably butchering the name, but Gerber English or custard, and a yellow summer crookneck is over here. And then we also have a lot of peppers down here and a few onions interplanted. But this row is mostly peppers. And then this row honestly does not have too much. It's honestly, like I was saying, it's been a pretty challenging year to start seeds and like do that sort of thing. Some of these seeds that I start out here have honestly not really taken off. It hasn't been hot enough and the weather's just been so wet, but there is some asparagus right here. Some of this is actually even falling over, like this one's. But we do have a few more peppers. I did have one didn't eat, and I'm honestly having a lot of pest pressure this year compared to normal, but gonna try to figure that out, but still wanted to show it. Just a few more peppers. This one's kind of looking a little bit sad. Then these are fennel. They look kind of interesting, but I'm trying those out this year for the first time. Then this here is some parsley. I think the cold's got into it a bit. It's honestly been kind of colder than I would like to have this stuff out, but the forecast looked pretty good at one point, and it's been kind of difficult year with that. Then these here are more cabbages, and I also have some broccoli here. Then they are getting little heads, as you can see. Then this spot, I'm hoping to plant sweet potatoes. Still haven't gotten those in yet, but probably a good thing with the weather. And then these are flowers. I really like having flowers at the entrance of the garden. So this right here, it probably doesn't look like much, but we have a few blackberries planted. You can see them right here. But they're also new to me, and I'm hoping that we can get a lot more blackberries. Love blackberries, have 2 kids, go through tons and tons and tons of berries, but we have a pretty wet yard in some spots, as you can see right here, so that makes it a challenge. But I'm hoping that these raised rows will help combat that, because like I put some soil underneath and then kind of help try to raise it up, and then put the blackberries on top with mulch, but I'm hoping that that'll help keep these drier and help give them a better chance. And then we also have a few fruit trees. This is a Granny Smith, also struggling a bit with the wetness, but get that taken care of. Peach tree, I believe it's a Red Haven. This is a contender peach. This one's a bit newer. We had another one here and it just got eaten by a deer, so, or scratched up by a deer, but so this one's the newest one. And then this one's an apple tree that's also pretty new. I believe it's a Mattoon, but we're trying to do different things to combat the deer. So we're trying this. We have the wraps, as you can see down there, but just trying to keep the deer from robbing. And then this right here is our chicken coop. It's pretty new, but you can see there's some flowers there, and my daughter actually planted those, but hoping that they grow and make everything look pretty nice. These are our chickens. I just thought I'd show them because they're going to be an important part of the garden process this year. They're pretty new. We've had them about 2 months, but, well, about a month and a half, but I'm hoping that we can use their waste to add to the compost pile and help fertilize. And they're also going to use a lot of the garden waste, like they've been eating a lot of like extra lettuce and like that sort of stuff, but hoping to add them to the garden lifestyle. And that is it for this month's tour. I'm hoping to film more this summer and just show how things progress, because I think in a month or 2 things are gonna look a lot healthier and nicer and a lot more full. But thanks for watching.